I paid attention to the goings-on in Europe when the Brits voted to leave the European Union. This is big-time history in the making. I know that pollsters try to predict voting results, but what I didn't pay any attention to was the fact that the bettors of this world are also out there predicting results, even election results. The major betting parlors and bookmakers in England all were involved in the action, leave or not. If you assume that betting odds convey the wisdom of the masses, then the bets to stay should have won out. Well, the bets to leave were very low. One bookmaker predicted 94% chance the UK would vote to stay. Oops. Apparently, the betting population in London and Edinburgh bet on staying in. The big cities voted to stay while the rest of the country said, go. One city woman apparently put down £100,000 of wagers on a victory to stay in the EU. Hopefully, she had enough to lose. One commentator suggested that the folks who earn a living trading US dollars against the British pound bet on the pound because the bookie said it was a good bet. Oops. It's a good time to travel to Britain right now, as the pound has sunk to its lowest level against the dollar in a long time. Cheap eats in London, although I don't think the eating in London rivals the Paris lunch menu. I guess I have always known that there were people out there who will bet on almost anything. Card games, casinos, bingo, bookmaking, lotteries, pari-mutuel wagering, and why not elections? It seems gambling is an incredibly popular pastime. The addictive.com folks report that in 2014, the casino gambling industry alone contributed $240 billion to the U.S. economy. They employed 700,000 people. Worldwide, the gross win was $400 billion in 2015. The Las Vegas Sands is the largest casino company in the world. In 2013, the company had revenue of almost $14 billion. More than 75% of adults in the U.S. will gamble at least once in their lifetime. 1% of that number will develop an addiction. Okay, so what? You and I don't have the addiction, right? But how does the addiction others have affect our lives? And you know it does. Here are some of the more alarming trends you should be aware of. University of New York has noticed that 1, the likelihood of developing gambling addiction increases 23-fold for people affected by alcohol. 2, over 80% of American adults gamble on a yearly basis. 3 to 5 gamblers out of every 100 struggles with the problem. 4, as many as 750,000 young people ages 14 to 21 have a gambling addiction. Next big issue in gambling is criminal activity. It seems there is a direct correlation between the severity of a gambling addiction and the likelihood of committing crimes. Seems on average an estimated 50% of those affected commit crimes to support the addiction. The University of North Carolina at Wilmington found that 75% of college students report gambling over the past year, and the risk of developing a problem doubles for young adults in the college setting. Worse yet, they estimate that 6% of the college kids have gambling problems, not the lower number of 1% of all the U.S. gamblers. There also appears to be a correlation with PTSD and gambling. PTSD symptoms affect between 12.5% and 29% of problem gamblers. Then there is the issue of mental illness. The folks at UNC Greensboro found a high incidence of depression disorders, anxiety disorders, substance abuse, and antisocial disorders amongst the gambling crowd. All this suggests to me that when the next vote comes up to let more gambling in, we might want to consider the very serious effect it might have on our society. Okay, so what are the odds on my getting a hole-in-one in my lifetime? According to the wiki folks, if a company puts up a car available for a hole-in-one during a tournament, the insurance folks set a premium in case it actually happens. That premium the tourney organizers pay is based on the belief that the average golfer has an approximately 12,500 to 1 chance of sinking that hole-in-one. Now the pros have a 2,500 to 1 chance. Pretty safe bet that nobody will win the car in your next tournament. And I will not be getting a hole-in-one anytime soon. Thank you for watching, and God bless.